Okay, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna try to take this monster we inked yesterday to a bit more of a finish in Grayscale. So let's get to it. As always, I got my trusty smaller window on my other screen, so everything's ready to get started. I'm still not happy with this part here, so actually before I get into that, let's do something like that. Okay, so now I'm gonna use the the magic wand to select everything here. Just a little cleanup around here, it seems. I'm gonna use selection pen. What this is doing is basically selecting the whole outer part of the silhouette, and then with that I will reverse the selection and fill. Well, technically it's just a mask, so that later I can reuse it. So selection, invert selection, and I'm gonna mask, sorry, not layer, group. And it's gonna be called Grayscale. All right, let's fill it with this. Yeah, usual drill. Multiply, water fringe. Let's say 2 is okay. Start with this. So a light's gonna come, yeah, more or less from the top. Or top, right? There's a little bit of dirt here, some spillover, it didn't get erased, but it doesn't get covered up by the paint. I will fix it. It might just not need it. This is probably not going to take long because it's a pretty simple monster. How do I want to tackle this? Well, these are definitely in the shadow. Sure. Don't want it to be too soft. This is mostly in the shadow with a sliver of light. Feather this a little bit because I wanted to not look as clean as the octopus was. I feel like that one is a little too clean. Maybe. The eyes, the eyes. Tackle the eyes. I want them to glow, if I want them to be feel like rounded, if I want that like to feel them sort of hollow so that it's a little darker inside at some point. Let's see now. Saw the new, well, part 2 of Stranger Things season 4 came out today, so I was watching first episode while eating my lunch, and I was thinking I might actually do a little special creature next week. Maybe I can try to redesign Vecna. I've been thinking about it for a while now. I've been wanting to do a lich or like type of creature, so we'll see. We just might do that. Hey, welcome Chase. Interested in the coloring scheme for what? This one? Yeah, I'm thinking about it. But definitely not gonna be orange. Or red. I might just go for a blue purple for this. I was thinking purple too. I think you've used a couple of reddish colors already in the other ones. Yeah. Although actually the jellyfish is kind of purple, pinkish purple. So one from the thumbnail of jellyfish. Yeah. Yeah, that is actually a pinkish purple. So this is probably going to be more on the blue side. Although, I mean, in the end, I am going to add color variations. Just for the main one, I want this to be a little different. I have I had a blue starfish, which is. I just do not want this to feel like an ice creature. And it does appear to have a little more contrast if it's orangish or red because of the water. And it's likely going to be seen in a watery, in a ocean-ish environment with a lot of blue, or on a ship. So it could be green as well. I don't usually use green. We'll see. I believe I'm overusing the blue-orange complementary palette usually, so green might be a good variation, or blackish, grayish. The Stranger Things idea is interesting. I'd like to see more grotesque things like the Demogorgon. Yeah. I have been thinking about doing some D&D monsters for a while, because I want to tackle the other, a little more Westernish style, rather than this very JRPG-ish one. And I really wanted to draw a lich. So why not? I haven't really decided yet, but I might. So what should we do here? Let me try this. I don't know if they're gonna feel like transparent eyes if you do them this way. Because you're gonna feel more like a solid mass on the outside. Technically, it would be like inverted cone inside and just a glossy ball top or dome. Since it's transparent, it wouldn't be catching the light. The light would not behave the same way. I just add a little bit of shadow here on the side where it's inset. Maybe here. In the middle. I mean, I did make it kind of pop out, so that's maybe how I know. As for Vecna, I was thinking of revisiting it in a more classic Lich fashion, so like an actual skeleton, or at least half skeleton, walking corpse thing, wizard-ish, not the way Stranger Things handled it. But also Demogorgon, yeah, maybe something a little more classic, but not with two baboon heads. That I cannot find interesting. I mean, it's okay, but it's I don't like the idea of baboon head, especially two baboon heads. So maybe something more like a canine or abstract monster with two heads or more. And by the way, in case you don't know, the baboon heads thing is the official description in the Forgotten Realms wiki, so that's why I mentioned it. Kind of the classic Demogorgon look. I think YouTube's view counter is broken anyway, because I have a window open, so that counts as 1, and then chase at least is here, so that would be 2. So I don't think it's working because it's still saying 1 over here. Yeah, I was talking about Demogorgon from Stranger Things, not a D&D Baboon monster, yeah. For some reason, I really preferred when the Demogorgon itself in the very first season was more of an undefined thing. Like, I feel like it loses a little bit with that how can I call it, flowery head. I felt like it was more creepy while it was more mysterious. Like, especially in the latest seasons, it just seems like it's just a wild, kind of stupid monster, rather than something that takes out its prey with somewhat it felt to me in the first season, at the beginning of season 1, it was more of a, man, I can't find the word, not trickster. It was something to watch out for, but not like you watch out for a lion escape from a zoo. Well, this thing really doesn't feel as threatening as it used to for me, or it stopped feeling as threatening as it was at the very beginning, like the mysterious thing that makes people vanish, lurks in the dark. That kind of spoiled it a little bit. Season 1 is my favorite, definitely. YouTube's watch counter is weird. I've done streams with a few people and they show up as 1 too. Yeah. I wonder if it's something to do with privacy settings. I agree. Horror monsters usually work better when they're more ambiguous and visually suppressed. Once you start defining them, they lose their stunning presences. Yeah. I mean, it's all about context, obviously. You take velociraptors, you close them in a lab, and you meet them when it's really dark, and they hide behind every corner, and it's going to be way creepier than meeting them in the jungle during the day or in a field, open field or something. It's still going to be dangerous, but it's not going to be as chilling. The original Alien movie was a good example, usually cloaked in the shadow and you hardly ever saw the whole body. Now it's kind of like another monster, yeah. Yeah, I played Alien Isolation and it was definitely more scary when you didn't know where the alien was at the very beginning. When you didn't even basically know it was there. And it's funny because for me at least, the scariest parts were when you heard something but you didn't see anything, and you know it's coming. You hear the footsteps, but you didn't see anything. So I missed a little bit of that in the latest or the other seasons of Stranger Things. But it's inevitable. I mean, there's just so much you can tell. At some point, it's just, well, you know, it's rehash what we had before. Okay, layer 1 is done. I might want to add a little more depth here. This. Just need it. Okay. Range 3. I think I'm going to downplay these holes a little bit. Because they're a little too dark. Like the outline and the line is too dark compared to what I'm doing. It's not looking. Okay. This is here because it does have to feel a little deep. These things are popping out, but it's also somewhat going into the creature, so we want them to feel like there is a depression there. Technically, the top part would be darker than the bottom one because of the lighting. So I don't know if I do this. No, I can probably just what moves that pressure all the time. This is a pretty simple thing, so it's gonna save me some time. Again, I'm not gonna work on the foreshadows yet. This is darker, this is darker, probably up to this point. Chase, do you know if they ever released that Shin Ultraman movie? I don't know if you. I assume you know it. It was supposed to be released last year, but then, sorry, 2 years ago maybe. then nothing was heard about it anymore. They just it was from the same director of Shin Godzilla, the same director of Evangelion, by the way. Oh, was it? Did you watch it? Hey. Yeah, I've been out of the loop a little bit, so I didn't realize. I haven't watched it yet, but interested since it's similar. Yeah, right. Yeah, so I had mixed feelings about that movie. I really, really like the Godzilla design. Actually, I didn't at first. I thought, it kind of looks dumb. Like, why do you fake that costume sort of look if you're doing it in CGI? But it was creepy. It was actually creepy, especially the Kamata form, like the very first one. That was really creepy. And also those kind of, well, I'm not going to spoil it, but let's see the very latest form you see towards the end. The only problem I have with that movie, well, one of the problems I have with that movie is that cringy Japanese woman that pretends to be American. That's really, really cringy. When you first see Stills with the eyes looking, yeah, right. It doesn't feel as goofy in the actual movie. It's creepy, and I started feeling like it is actually way more creepy than I used to think. Because when I thought about Godzilla, I was like, okay, well, the old ones are not that creepy. You know, that kind of goofy costume design. But seeing in that movie, it really is. Like, even the way it moves, it's like sentient, but weird. So it is kind of creepy. I wanted to get a statue of the fourth form, I guess the fourth one, when it shoots the rays, atomic breath. There was a pretty awesome statue of that, and when I saw the price, I'm like, okay, well, maybe I'm gonna sculpt it because it's too expensive. And I don't have the files anymore, but I had started on it. I might actually sculpt in one of the future streams with ZBrush or something. Once I get a license, because I don't have it anymore. It transforms in sort of worm-like wriggling stage, and then becomes some deformed abominations. It was cool. Yeah, it was really cool. That part where he's at the very beginning, where he sneaks through the city. That's really creepy. The way the thing moves and shits blood everywhere. That is creepy. I was pleasantly surprised with that movie. And I'm not a big kaiju movie fan. Honestly, I did not like the recent iterations, like King of the Monsters, and I didn't even watch the Godzilla vs. Kong, honestly, because I did like Godzilla 2013 a little bit. It was okay, but I also like Bryan Cranston, so that's why I watched that. But I went to the theater to watch King of the Monsters, and I was really, really bored personally, and I don't know, I couldn't enjoy it. I'm not sure why. I really wanted to like it. I mean, the premises were good, but I much preferred the anime they made. I'm not sure which year it was, but it's definitely not the new one. It's called, what's it called? I forgot that too. Well, there are 3 movies, anime-ish 3D movies, with Godzilla set in the future, like near future probably. And I prefer those to the actual live-action movies, personally. Are we talking about the trio of anime? Yeah, those ones, yeah. Yeah, they were well done. I like the whole, I hate Godzilla, I gotta take revenge against it. I'm not gonna spoil anything, obviously, for those who haven't watched them, but how can I put it so that it doesn't spoil everything? So the way they thought it would end, or it would go, and then shifts dramatically to something at a completely different scale. I was like, what the hell? I can't believe that. Yeah, it kept me good company when I was in Japan. I kind of binged them, honestly, when I was eating for 2 days in a row. I would have preferred a different ending, but they were still good. I was really impressed with the scientific way they were approaching each problem and the philosophical nature of each movie. Pretty smart. Yeah. Yeah, I like the topics they tackle. And some streaks here, maybe, why not? I like streaky things on tentacle looking stuff. Okay, this could be used against me, I guess. I think it's pretty darn Japanese fashion. Yeah, it is. I wasn't super happy with it. But it is kind of Japanese, I guess. It does have a Japanese vibe. More than other stuff. I was watching, or I did watch, in 2020, the 3D anime they made of Ultraman 2, based on a manga, but I tried watching the second season a few months ago. I just couldn't get into it anymore. I don't know why. It feels like that was okay-ish. I just like armor design, so I was watching it for that. I really like the way they redesign all the armor stuff. That's armor design 101, or techno armor design 101 for me. But somehow it started to feel a little too maybe too Japanese. Like a little too much. Like too much. Oh, okay, let's use a lot of useless gestures, and that's it. It becomes too much of a teen drama and doesn't feel as good as I thought it would feel because of the design. That's the main reason why I watched it. Also because of the monsters, but if it becomes too, I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. It's this kind of generic. It's like they copy pasted some generic anime 3D character gestures into it. I had this feeling when watching it. And so I was like, okay, well, I guess that's it for me. It became borderline irritating, so I stopped watching after maybe 2 episodes. Or maybe it was the first one. Or maybe I'm just getting old. Because I do gravitate more towards the old monsters and old-fashioned stuff. Another movie that I didn't quite enjoy as much as I thought I would was Pacific Rim. I did love the kaiju design, but I could not get into the whole Jaeger thing. I don't know. It was just not... It was missing something. I didn't watch the second one. I'm referring to the live action one, obviously. I believe there's an anime-ish one too, but I might be wrong. Not sure if it's because I'm more into the Japanese type of monster stuff, and so that does ring to me like more of an imitation, but it might be. But that one didn't convince me. Again, despite the kaiju design, that was really good. At least for my personal taste. I do have a bit of a weird taste, honestly. So, it might be that as well. These eyeballs are going to be extremely wet looking later. Let's leave them at this for now. That's how the movie came off to me. It felt like an imitation rather than authentic. Yeah. It's like, okay, we're trying so hard to imitate Japanese kaiju movies, but we can't. There is, it's like, it's basically like copying another painting verbatim. Like, okay, I'm just gonna copy line by line. It's gonna look like that, but it's without knowing the why you do some things, it's not gonna feel the same. Scott, this is actually going faster than I had imagined. Maybe I should maybe use 4 instead of 3 fringe. Oh, we got someone else watching. I think the counter did update in the end. Welcome. Feel free to hop in the chat if you want. Say hi. Whoever you want. Also, because I want to hear more opinions about the idea of tackling a D&D Lich design, so Vecna, next week. I had to do something similar in college where I had to write story style of some of other authors, and you can't just shake your own influence. Yeah. You can do that as an exercise. I do it all the time. I mean, we artists do it all the time. We do master copies and stuff, but it's obviously not meant to be something authentic. Well, if you do just imitate the surface of that, it will not be the same thing. The point is like finding out why something is designed like that if you want to replicate in your own stuff. You can do the master copy, but then you gotta, if you study some artists, you think, okay, why or where did he take this design from? Like when I was designing some Pokemon for a board game, instead of just looking at the creatures, I'm like, okay, well, where does this creature come from? Recently I did a Moogle or sort of creature mascot design for a clothing brand, and what I did was, rather than just going straight to copying the Moogle, which I still use the Moogles as an inspiration. I went to research a little bit, like, okay, where does this design come from? And it turns out the Moogle comes from a koala, and I had absolutely no idea. So if you take something and you manipulate that something in the spirit of what you're trying to imitate, then it's gonna look much better than just copying the end product, because you don't know what the person did. I think you do that with Pokemon because my Pokemon designs are completely different. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the new ones. To be generous, I guess. I am extremely critical towards those designs because I'm mean. But say you take Cowboy Bebop. I saw a few years ago an episode of Fang Zhu Design Cinema, and he was talking about how Spike's spaceship was inspired by this, and that, and he pulled out a lot of old 50s car references for that. And if you use the same references rather than the end product, then your stuff is going to look much more genuine. So I think in the case of Pacific Rim, it's just that they went directly to, okay, let's copy the end product. That's it. But they don't have all the background. They don't have all the probably Japanese folklore behind it. They don't know any of that. They didn't know any of that. Maybe it was not their intention. Maybe they did want it to feel different, but that's how it felt to me. You're almost down here. Another couple layers. Hey, Seven's Gaming. Streaming it? Yeah. I might change my schedule at some point, but for now, it's gonna be every day around this time. Like 10 minutes past 5 p.m. CET to maybe 20 minutes past 6. So about an hour 20 minutes. But I'm thinking of moving the block to my evening, like in what, 3 to 4 hours from now. Not sure though, because I cannot do it every day then, probably. And I'm not even sure yet if I want to stream every single part of the process, because it might get boring for the viewers. This needs to be a little less. At the end of this, I want it to feel more. So these lines, it's because this feels way softer on one side, so it blends in a little better. That, so I'm gonna fix it now that I see it. Let's see, I'm gonna use line art black. Oops. Ah. That's the wrong layer. I wish YouTube had a feature to put up a poll or something, but if it does, I believe it's for very big channels. I think I saw the community tab is only available after you pass something like 10,000 subscribers, which is clearly very far away from me still. But I wish it could, because I want to know you guys' opinion about a few things. Since I'm setting up the Discord server, trying to figure out a schedule for the next streams, I would like to have some feedback. And I thought of putting a time lapse together when you're done as final. Yeah, I actually am. Not for this one, but for the octopus. Because I forgot to hit record yesterday, so I don't have the inking of this one. But I will put the time lapse on soon, as soon as I get to processing it for the octopus. Yeah. You need 1,000 subscribers, I think, for Pulse. Okay, that's more reasonable. Yeah, that's for monetizing too. Same threshold. Nether. This is not deep enough. This is not going to have fringe, or is it? Yeah, you know what? I'm going to add fringe here too. And one step darker. Shadows. Let's make it feel a little more bumpy, maybe. Such some of these lines as well. Triple the time lapse is short. YouTube is really pushing those. We'll probably get more views. Yeah. The only problem is that I have about, what is it, 4 to 5 hours in total. So I really have to, like for the octopus, so I really have to shrink it down to like, I mean, I gotta do it like 10x or more. And shorts cannot be longer than, how many seconds is that? 30? Might be wrong. But yeah, I was thinking about it. I just figured it might be complicated to compress it to that level. This is really feeling flat, which is not what I want. $60 seconds. Yeah, kind of, it's like an Instagram video. It's to be deep on one side, not the other, obviously. Let's see. I think it's also not correctly aligned, but at this point it's fine. It's gonna be darker still. Lines. Oh wait, switch it up. But yeah, I'm definitely going to add a time lapse. I'm still thinking whether to add some comment over it or not, because we already have the stream, so just be like a simple demo. Starting out. A little darker still. Just one step darker at least. choose some of the monsters from the Google list. Sent you for my stream while I was on call with it. I don't think I read that email yet, so I will let you know. That's cool. You mean in this very style, right? For the game. Which is looking really good, by the way. Back from the... Oh, those ones. Yeah, sure. Actually, if I don't do Vecna next week, I was already thinking of doing a Kelpie sort of monster, so that water horse. Probably taking inspiration from that. Like in general for the pack. Since you also talked about it. But Vecna sounds interesting right now, so I might just delay it to later. I will still do it, because I am planning on starting streaming some Animal Anatomy. Like, one of the days will definitely be Anatomy, Creature Anatomy, and then there's going to be studies, not just anatomical studies, but studies in general, and then based on those studies, maybe a community challenge or something, to create a design based on the creature that was just studied. I think that's the most proficient way to get better. So the Kelpie looking thing was definitely going to be in it. I do have a lot of plans, I just have not enough time for them. I have to kind of figure out a good schedule. Kelpie would be cool. You were just talking about horses yesterday. Yeah, I think. Horses are basically the base that's always used as an example for quadruped anatomy studies, so that's why I mentioned it. Please, I think this is getting almost ready. I'm gonna duplicate this and go a little darker. Ah, it's much better. Much, much better now. Just don't want this to feel too stringy here. A little darker in here. I feel like it's starting to feel, no pun intended, too metallic around here, so I've got to darken. It's always because of that thing I mentioned in the previous streams, the value range. So the bigger the value range, the more what you're drawing is going to look metallic. Yeah. A bit of a weird shape, so a little darker now. Define no effect this time. Very much darker. making sure these beady eyes are feeling as they should. Connect some of these lines because I'm also going over some of the line art I did before because I wanted to feel a little more cohesive. So is this. So this. In general, when you ink or add line art, you want shapes. Well, not shapes. You want surfaces that are detached from one another to have a line between. Over here, they shouldn't really have a thick, dark line because they are somewhat adjacent to each other, so bit of color, not that much then. Should be almost done anyway. It is feeling a little. Oops. Make sure it's not too bad. I don't like how this eye here looks. Yeah, I'm not really happy with the surface. These are okay. These are going to be ones that are further away. But here, this look deep. Again, I'm probably going to add an overlay layer here to emphasize the fact that there is some overlapping. Let's call it skin. So it's going to be dark on this side and light on the other. And here, I think I want to try adding some other darkness. That one eventually goes inside. Let's see how it looks. It's small. Yeah, I don't want these to be visible. Exactly. Hey, Bob. What do you like the creature design you went with? The bark claws. Look cool in this guy. Thank you. See how it looks. The deeper shadows, should be okay to go slightly darker and slightly less dark around the edge. You still want this to feel three-dimensional, obviously. I would be dying to add more detail there, but this is too small. Use it. Let's see, I think we're basically done the grayscale. So tomorrow we can think about colors. Let me see. Yeah, the eyes are not looking good. The eyes are definitely not looking good. Especially this one, man. This one is really bad. Oh, let's see if we can fix it somehow. This is pretty bad looking. Yeah, see, I was undecided at the very beginning, so they didn't turn out as good. Ideally you should have a clearer idea when you go into the shading, but this feels way too flat. It's a little bit this way, but yeah, it's a little better. This was the wrong color though, the wrong value. I'm thinking if this works. Let's see, a little darker here. This is okay. Well, it's gonna look way too complicated at this rate. As long as these feel like they're going into the creature, that's fine. I think they are pretty much okay. The eyes are messy. Definitely too messy. That's what I did with this. I don't think it's looking good. Let's see. Yeah, there are some things in the design I could have changed. Like this could have been a little more curved, but it's too late for regrets now. I guess this is fine. Like that meme where you have the dog and the whole house is on fire. It's like, this is fine. Yeah, this is fine. Totally fine. Until it's not. It becomes very unfine. Okay, I think we can leave it here. There are some things I'm not really happy with, and I would definitely love to fix if I use a different method. Like I would probably go in and on another layer would smush them all together. and color pick and blend some areas, but it's okay for this one. And if you zoom out, this is probably gonna be this. Oops, this is the size it's gonna be seen at. This or this even. So I guess it's fine. Actually, I can probably darken some of the areas a little more. Yes. And it's good to go. I would think, if you guys have any idea, like Chase did at the beginning, feel free to suggest in the comments below some possible color schemes for this, and I'm going to try them out tomorrow. Right now, I'm thinking, also based on Chase's input, going for a sort of bluish purple maybe, or just blue, or maybe even green. I don't know yet. So if you guys have any idea, again, feel free to let me know in the comments. We're gonna leave this here for now. And as always, if you liked it, if you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe. Didn't, oh, sorry. And yeah, I'm gonna see you tomorrow for the coloring of this one. Cheers.